Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another episode of Snack and Smack, the show where we eat snacks and talk smack. Today's special guest is Mr. Alan Z, actor slash artist slash rapper slash singer slash Instagrammer, video game designer, chef, porn star. That could work too, right? We have a nice little casting couch here.
Yeah, this is actually the audition.
This is the audition, but very happy to have him on board here. We've been talking for a while, but we're gonna get into the story in a bit. First off, we're gonna talk about the snack. So this is something special. Of course, it's called a Vietnamese banh mi. Have you ever had a Vietnamese banh mi before?
I had it once, so I'm very inexperienced when it comes to
You
banh mi.
had one Vietnamese banh mi in your life?
Yeah.
Where are you from, bro?
Atlanta.
Atlanta?
Yeah.
Wait, there's no banh mi in Atlanta?
I don't think so. If it is, it's like a hidden spot that I haven't gone to
The
yet.
hell? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, you're gonna get your mind blown for today, but we're gonna be trying out the banh mi, my style. All right, and now for the banh mi for today, I don't know what flavor you got. My friend brought this from a place in San Jose called Banh Mi Oven. Thank you so much for beaming me up, Scotty. Check her on Twitch. So I don't know what flavor she got us, but let me check this one out. Ooh, okay, so mine is the combo cold cut #1 right here. Ooh. And then I think you got the
pork, right?
The steamed pork, which is I think it's called jaf. So they come with extra pickle and also daikon, cilantro, and jalapenos. Do you like eating this stuff?
I'll watch you eat it first, and I'll study the master first.
That's great. So actually in the banh mi, there is already some of the ingredients in here. So if you guys never had a banh mi, it's very simple. It's a nice crunchy baguette. A lot of times there's some type of protein, whether it's pork, it's ham, or it's chicken. And then there is like, for the greens, there's like a cilantro, there's jalapenos. And then to nice jazz up a little bit with the sourness is the pickled daikons and carrots. Very, very simple. And sometimes they put like butter on the bread itself, or like they put something called pate. Pate is like a liver-based type of like cream. It's super good. Vietnamese sandwiches were inspired by the French. You know, just like, yeah, because this is a French baguette, and then they put the pate, which is very French also too. So Vietnamese food is inspired by a lot of different regions. You know, China, you know, its own Vietnamese, but also French too. So I'm so surprised that this is the first time. I mean, you've had it one time in your life.
Yeah.
Did you like it?
I did.
And
it's just the thing is, I'm just not experienced with like how to even, you know, this whole process.
Yeah.
So it's like, I remember eating it, and I remember liking it, but I don't know too much about it to go into detail about it, you know?
Cool. I mean, it's very, very simple. A lot of times it just comes as is. You can customize it a little bit, but I like to add a little bit more of the green. So what I'm gonna do here, my handy dandy chopsticks, I'm gonna put in, I'm a spice head, dude. Like, do you like spicy food?
I do. But probably not as much as you. You're just going all in.
Can you
right
handle jalapenos?
Yeah.
Oh, really? You want to put more in?
Let's do this.
Hell yeah, dude. I don't want you to burn off your ass, though. So let's put a little bit of jalapenos in there. There's a lot of greens and stuff like that, but I do like some of that greens in there. Very, very simple, and you eat it just like a sandwich. But what I like to do, super Asian in me, is I like to spice it up with sriracha. Do you like sriracha?
Not for this. You just put like 3 jalapenos on me, so I'm good.
Okay, we're gonna lay off on spicing and jazzing up Alan's banh mi. I'm gonna do my own though. I'm gonna definitely jazz it up with sriracha. If you guys know me, I like spicy food, and I put spice in everything. So sriracha is just like, paint that, just douse it up, make it all red.
Damn.
Paint the banh mi red, that's what I like to call it, right? So, we're not being sponsored by Sriracha, but if you guys are Huy Fong Foods, we are looking for some sponsors. This is Alan's second time ever eating a Vietnamese banh mi. So, I like this place, so let's see how you like it, right?
All right, cool.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Let's give it a shot. Ooh, that crunch.
It's good. Damn, you put the jalapeno like right here so I can taste the spiciness of it.
Oh, yeah, this place is good.
Yeah.
The bread itself. So a good French baguette bread, you want to have crusty on the outside and soft on the inside, pillowy, right? This is nice and crunchy. The filling is a nice ratio of meat, vegetables, and that pate in there is super good. That cold cut combo, not Subway, it's banh mi. But this is really, really good though. What's your reaction of it?
I like that there's so much going on, because like you mentioned Subway, and it's just kind of like one flavor. It's very homogeneous, but it's like you're tasting both the meat and the vegetables, and it hits you at once.
That nice balance of the creaminess of the pate and the butter, with the nice the chew texture and the meat flavor from the ham and cold cut. And I mean, the balancing out, Vietnamese food is all about balance, right? Between textures, flavors, and everything. So I think the banh mi is probably the best sandwich in the world. I mean, this being your second time, man, we gotta get you like accustomed to more banh mi. Is there any banh mi shops in Atlanta?
Not that I know of, but I feel like should be, right? I mean, there's a lot of pho places that we know of. I live like 5 minutes from the I Love Pho. I don't know if you guys have that. That's probably like the Taco Bell of Vietnamese food, right?
No, I've never heard of I Love Pho.
Really? That's like we have like 5 or so.
Wow.
Yeah.
I never heard of I Love Pho. So to be honest, I've never been to Atlanta. And as far as Atlanta, like let's go into your background a little bit, right? I mean, I was born and raised in San Jose, so a lot of Vietnamese culture there. I mean, pho places and banh mi places is a dime a dozen, right? We didn't have like too many other ethnicity. I mean, there's a lot of Mexican food and stuff like that. But I mean, Atlanta, like, how's it like growing up in, like, you're not from Atlanta though. I mean, you live there now. So why don't you go into your background?
Yeah, sure. It's kind of complicated because I lived so many different places. So I guess I'll just start from the beginning. I was born in China, and then I moved to...
what part of China?
Like Sichuan, like that area.
Oh, Sichuan. Dude, Sichuan is spicy food heaven.
Spicy, yeah.
And
I do like spicy food. Look,
you're not a Jew Sichuan, brother.
Yeah. Look, because it's my second time, I didn't want it to taste sriracha. I wanted to taste
of it. You're absolutely right. I know what it tastes like, so I add in sriracha.
I was born in China, and then I moved to England when I was 4.
England?
Yeah, Singapore when I was 5.
Wow.
Around 5 or 6. And then I moved to the States when I was 6, like right after Singapore.
That's crazy.
So when I moved to the States, we lived in Maryland. It was a place called Tacoma Park. My dad, he worked at Howard, like the predominantly black, like HBCU.
Oh, Howard University.
Yeah, Howard University.
Oh, yeah.
So we're around that area, like Tacoma Park is like 30 minutes from there.
That's cool, man.
So I grew up around a lot of black and Hispanic kids.
Yeah. Why did you move so much in your family? Like, what? I mean, from England to Singapore and stuff like that. Like, why all the move? Like,
it was actually because of my health reasons, to be honest with you. So in China, like, you know, the pollution's really bad, right?
Yeah.
So I had really bad asthma, and I almost died when I was like 3.
Wow.
Yeah. So like, my parents just wanted me to have a healthy life. So they went to England, and like my asthma went away. Right?
Wow.
And then we moved to Singapore, and it was the same thing. But once he took me back to China, it's like it kicked.
Pollution again.
And then they're like,
crazy.
okay, this kid's probably not going to survive like this.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah. And so in the States, of course, like the air is better. I mean, when I go to China now, it doesn't matter because I'm older, right? But like as a kid, just because of like, you know.
Your lungs and your body wasn't fully.
Yeah.
I definitely asthma hits close to home because my older brother has really bad asthma, and like growing up for me, and we went to the same school. Like he would have asthma attack, and like he would get reported to the nurse, and you know, even like the little inhaler. Like,
I wasn't even that extreme.
It was like vaping before vaping.
It's like the nerd babe.
Exactly, right? And it was scary because like he would have asthma attack, and like there's times where like he had to go to hospital, and it was very scary.
Right.
I mean, are you still fighting it now, or?
No, I'm good. Yeah.
You grew out of it.
That's the crazy thing is like once I like left China, like, you know, because I didn't live there for that long, but when I was like an infant, it's like it was bad. I was going to the hospital. Like I've had like IVs in every single vein on my body, like on my head.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Because it ran out of IV veins for them to put it on. They've had it on my head and stuff like that.
That's insane.
So now like I don't even think I have it because like the whole what's it called again? Inhaler? I never used it ever.
Really?
My friends will use it.
Yeah.
But I never used it just because I never needed to.
That's insane.
So I don't know. I kind of call it fate because it's like, what's the chances of a random Chinese kid ending up in America? You know what I'm saying? Not even though it's kind of common, but it's like for me, so we didn't have a reason to. It's not like, you know what I'm saying? Like everyone else did. We were the only family from our side to move to
America. Yeah. Because I know, like for the Chinese, like a lot of times they immigrated to the U.S. Majority of them are Cantonese. You know, they came from the U.S. This was back in the days. Came over here, went to New York and California and stuff like that. But you came from this Sichuan area, and then you moved to England first, and then you moved to Singapore after that, and then to the U.S. Wow. So, I mean, what languages do you speak?
So I speak Mandarin, English, and we also have like Sichuan. It's like the
Sichuan dialect.
Like the dialect. I speak that at home.
So, I mean, with all these moving around, like, so you went from Seattle to now Maryland?
No. So I went from Maryland to Seattle, and then I had a really rough time in Seattle, so I moved to Atlanta.
There's a lot of Asians in Seattle, though, right?
There was, but I was in the suburbs of Seattle, and everyone wanted to be white. It wasn't.
Everybody wanted to be white. Oh, it wasn't because they're white. Everyone wanted to be white. That's an interesting word.
Yeah.
So, like, was the word banana being used around your area?
Well, they call me a rotten banana because I rapped. So they're like,
Whoa, okay, that's the first time I heard that word.
Yeah, first time for me too.
That's messed up. But
right?
man, so that means like you're yellow and then a little bit of black and then a little bit white. Okay, that's interesting, man. Wow. You settled there, but now you live in Atlanta. And how long you been living in Atlanta for?
I'd say like 5-6 years because I went to college out there at Emory. And the only reason I moved to Atlanta was because of college, because I'm like, all right, I'm having a really hard time in Seattle, so I'm either gonna move to New York or Atlanta to kind of just learn about myself and start a career. So New York, I got into both Emory and NYU, but New York is hella expensive. So Emory gave me a better grant, and I was just like, all right, let me do my thing in the South.
So did you visit Atlanta first before you decide, or is it, no, I'm just gonna go?
No, it was like my only experiences were BET. I watched the Welcome to Atlanta video. I'm like, yep.
That's right, look at Atlanta. I mean, I've never been to Atlanta, but I mean, Atlanta is like the hub for a lot of record labels. Like a lot of music comes out. I think Usher's from there. Usher, T.I. Ludacris. A lot of big names are from there. Is Lil Wayne from?
No, he's from Louisiana.
Okay, which is very close to Atlanta, right? That's crazy. So, I mean, just a little bit background about Alan. Also, he does rapping, he does singing, he does some acting too. Like, how did you get into that art form? Like, what inspired you? I mean, an Asian guy growing up in America, you know, we're supposed to follow the STEM route, right? You know, either science, technology, engineering, or math.
Lawyer,
right? Or lawyer, or something like that, right? I mean, rapping and music was not part of that.
So, it's very frowned upon, or was.
Frowned upon. It is still frowned upon, I would say.
So I was inspired by people like Eminem, Jay-Z, Nas, Tupac. Who I consider like part of the golden age, like the 90s, right?
Yeah, the 90s music, man. The 90s hip hop music was, Peaches.
112. I got big in the Asian community. I always hear about it.
Oh man, what was that? Oh, there was a really big group. Lil Wayne was part of it.
Hot Boys, right?
Hot Boys. Yeah, that's right. And that type of music was so raw. I mean, I think the South dominated like the 90s as far as like music. I mean, of course, California, you got the West Coast and East Coast and stuff like that. But like during the late 90s and early 2000s,
that was all
like
the South.
Like
the crunk era, you know?
The crunk era, oh man.
And so I feel like with music for me, I was very like awkward and shy kid growing up, you know? And I felt like that was the only outlet where I can just be like, I guess excel at. I had low self-esteem, so I felt like, I'm like, well, I might be like, you know, like kind of timid, but I'm really good at rapping. I'll out-rap you, you know? So I would like go to ciphers as like a teenager. I'll like just like do my thing. And the kids at school, because I went to Seattle and stuff like that, like they didn't like me because they're like, well, you're Asian, you shouldn't do this. They're like, well, you whatever, nerd, you can't rap.
What are you supposed to? I'm supposed to like One Punch Man and actually One Punch Man. Like, anime and like what?
Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh at the time.
Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon cards.
Yeah. Which is, I mean,
Asians were hating on you.
Oh my God, yes. Yeah. They didn't want to be associated with me. Like when they would have like Asian parties, like don't invite Alan.
What? That's messed up, man. Who were you more accepted by then, if it wasn't just the Asian community?
Well, I was my friend growing up. His name's Evan, and he was a black kid, and so I hung out with him and his little brother, and so of course they're just like, oh well, okay, we don't want to be associated with them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, I didn't know how much like the racial imbalance was. You know, even in middle school, because I'm just like, we should just all get along based on like, you know, hobbies and interests. But it's like, I didn't know it because I'm just, I guess, naive to it.
Yeah.
So when I got bullied for it, it was kind of like a wake-up call. It's like the world is very divided. It's like whatever you're supposed to do or technically supposed to do is what you're supposed to do, right?
Yep, put into a box, right?
Once you're out of that box, you look at you almost like you're like an alien. They're just like, why? You know, it's like, what's wrong with you? It's like, what's, you know, and I felt like that led to a huge identity crisis in terms of like, well, how do I become more Asian? How do I get that? Which is why I found, you know, ASIANRaps.com.
ASIANRaps.com.
My experience with the Asian experience was through the internet. Like, so while you guys were living it, I'm just online, like, all right, I want to be part of this.
Exactly,
so
man.
ASIANRaps.com, you know, I would study people like, you know, Jin, Shogun,
MC Jin, Flowsick,
Smacky Chan.
Smacky Chan, dude, all these names bring such a nostalgia. Just kind of backtracks for those of you guys who don't know what Asian Raps was. It was like, this was during the beginning stages of the mass public having internet, right? You know, this is like GeoCities, like, this was before Facebook, this was before social media, anything that existed. It was like, before even Asian Avenue. Like, there was no places for Asians to find, but I mean, growing up, I mean, the only kids around your neighborhood, that's all you know in your school. But then the internet came around. You get this little CDs for AOL.com, you know, 50,000 hours for free, you know, sign up for AIM, you got all this. But Asian Raps was one of the first places where Asian people can go to find other
rappers.
Asians and other Asian rappers, you know, and it was crazy because we actually met one of the girls that actually helped run the page back in the day. She's local here in the Bay Area too. So cool. Shout out to Kim Lee, helping run the page. But man, that's cool. So now let's go back into Asian raps. How did that? What was your experience with that?
My first experience with that was with Jin, because I literally saw his first battle on BET, and I was hella nervous.
6 in Park,
and I don't even have cable, but for some reason we went to a friend's house, so I just I turned on BET and whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my god, it's an Asian kid. And I'm just like, whoa, this is supposed to be me. I'm like, how is he beating me at what? I'm like 11 at this point.
Damn.
Like, oh my god, he's doing. And then so I watched him beat like the dude, and I'm like, is this gonna be a thing? And then like literally next year, everyone's like, yo, you know Jin? Yep. Oh, Jin from Rough Riders?
Yep.
And I think for me, it was like, okay, it's possible. Because he signed with a major record label.
Yep.
And I'm like, all right.
One of the first Asian Americans. The first
solo,
Asian Americans.
Solo
yeah,
artist.
that's right. Yeah.
So I think that was a big deal. That was my first exposure. And then ASEAN Raps, that opened me up to like Far East Movement, Thai Viet G. I think Vietnamese Gang was like a huge deal because I remember Vietnamese kids like in my school listening to it.
Yeah, it's a Vietnamese gang that are bang
with the same click.
Rolling down the street with your Hondas, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
It was hella prideful. It was like,
It was. I think during that time period, it was a golden age of Asian identity. I know we talked about this a little bit, but like Asian raps came from the Asian Pride days, and this is like the mid 1990s to early 2000 was this sense of identity and pride, and I mean, rapping and music spawned off from that movement, you know. So, okay, so did you make any songs and upload it to Asian Raps?
Oh man, I used to battle on ASEAN Raps.
No way!
Yeah.
What was your name? Maybe some of our fans.
Oh my god, it's so embarrassing, man. I used to go by Switch. Like
Switch?
It's so embarrassing. Yeah.
Why is that embarrassing?
Because all the kids made fun of me at school, so I think it just brings back bad memories.
So what does Switch mean?
It was like short for Switchblade. It's like so embarrassing. Now hearing it, I just cringe so hard.
No, honestly, that was a cool name. I don't think there's nothing wrong with Switch.
I think it's because like the kids at school, it's like they're already making fun of the idea of an Asian kid rapping. So it's like,
okay, got it.
You know, they were like, oh, let's just make fun of him even more. Bad memories.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. So now you're inspired by Asian raps. You found a community out there. You started making songs. You start uploading. And at this time, how old are you?
I was 13.
Yeah, 13.
But I didn't upload songs on there. I think when I first started uploading songs, it was on MySpace. I was like after.
Oh, MySpace.
That's cool. Yeah.
You know, MySpace was also now a new platform where actually you find a lot of artists. You know, I know a lot of other artists that use the MySpace platform to grow their brand off of there. When did you start getting really serious about making music though?
I think it was honestly when I moved to Atlanta. Because in Seattle, I didn't even want to release music because every time I did it, it would just be people making fun of me from school. Like I was just too afraid to actually reach out to other communities, you know, because I'm just like, well, if they don't like me, I'm sure the other kids are gonna think I'm weird too.
Yeah.
It's just like, you know, when I moved to Atlanta, it was a totally different experience because then it's like people are like, oh, this Asian guy's dope. He can rap, he can sing, and it's like I started getting girls, and then it felt like
so you were accepted by that community,
by the black community. Yeah,
that's great. So were you like the token Asian dude?
They kept, kind of.
So I mean, in any group, there's always like a token, you know, white dude, black dude, Mexican dude, Asian dude. So you were the token Asian dude.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm sure you heard all the jokes, the Jackie Chan's, the Bruce Lee's, the Jet Li's.
Yeah.
Did you take it? Like, was it derogatory towards you?
Well, I mean, once you saw that I could battle and I could roast, you kind of stopped that.
Because, shit! So you clapped back real quick, then? Huh?
Yeah. Because the first year I did a tournament and then I won it and for $300.
That's dope, man.
Yeah, so I think part of it was kind of like a respect thing. It's like I'm not just a token. I'm also a valued person of this community, you know. And you know, I think that once you win respect, I think people kind of like lay off the jokes a little bit. You know,
you proved yourself.
You proved yourself. Yeah.
Exactly. That's so dope, man. I mean, there's a lot of divisions, especially in music, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times in music, like when you think of like country music, automatically you think of this, you know, white dude singing. You think about, you know, pop music. You know, think about, you know, of course, the majority culture, white people, and then, of course, it comes to rap and hip hop. It's always like, you know, more the black community.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, you see some faces, but online, the Asian raps and stuff that was still very underground though. It never got to mainstream. You know. So now that you're pursuing more music, you're being accepted by the community. Like, did it help shape what type of music you're putting out there?
Definitely.
And I especially, I mean, there's different types of rap music, right? There's like underground. There's like more like pop. There's more like, you know, different types. How do you feel? Let's say certain terms like the N-word. I mean, you hear music and the N-word being used a lot in rap music, right? Is that something that you use?
No, I feel like, okay, when I was growing up, and I'll admit it, like, just because of ignorance, like, I did use them around my friends because we all learned it as a term of endearment. But now that it's a word that people, like black people want to claim, like I'm not gonna use it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, it's not my say to say, oh, well, no, this is why I use it. Nah, like this is your thing. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like you gotta respect that. You treat it as almost like a passion project on the low that you're gonna develop and no one else should know about it because otherwise it's gonna distract you. It's gonna be a lot of people in your ear saying this is not gonna work, it's not gonna work. And it applies to kind of like